Hey Ginger, welcome back.
Hi.
So tell me a little bit about your week. How'd it go?
My week's been good. For the most part, yeah.
Yeah? Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Well, yeah, I feel like the thought stopping, like I did the homework, the thought stopping activity, and I felt like it was good in some aspects, but like in a hard way. Like I found it really difficult to I just didn't realize, like, I guess, how many times I was having these thoughts. So I found it difficult to like constantly be doing and realizing, it was kind of but it was kind of a good awareness. So I found it a little bit difficult, but it was good to like be aware when I was doing these things.
Okay, so if you could think about your week last week on like a scale of 1 to 100, like where you felt like you were the most successful, or 100 being you were the most successful, you were able to stop every thought, and 1 being you weren't able to do it at all, it was debilitating. Can you put yourself on the scale for the week?
I would say maybe like 40, because I definitely wasn't able to stop all my thoughts.
Yeah.
But I mean, I did was constantly thinking about the activity, so
great.
I felt like that was helpful, even reversing my thoughts.
Yeah. Well, firstly, thank you very much for taking the time to do that. I know that that's a difficult one. That's a hurdle that we're jumping it through, and I am really proud of you for taking the time out of your week to just really commit yourself to that. So let's talk about some of the thoughts that you were having that you weren't able to stop. Can you describe some of those to me?
I guess just particularly thoughts when I was thinking about my son and stuff like that. Just, maybe not being the best mother for him. I think that was a major one. And just back to the one about not being a good romantic partner.
Right.
I feel like some of the ones with the teacher, being a good teacher and stuff like that, those are a little easier for me to recognize and then later on kind of reverse. But because I know I know I have been a good teacher, so I think I'm just in a funk and I'm getting back from that. But yeah, I feel with my family, those were the thoughts, about not being a good mother, not being a good partner.
Okay, well, let's take one of those, either partner or with your son. It's your choice, and let's really dive deeper into that. Do you have a preference on which one you choose?
Well, I feel like my partner, that one's just kind of, I don't know, I feel like my son's probably more where my major concern is right now.
All right, so I hear you saying that you don't feel like you are a good enough mother. Is that what I'm hearing? So can you describe to me what it would look like, what the best mother in the world looks like?
Well, I would say the best mother in the world probably has a great partner beside her, and they're this happy family, and her and her kids have a really good relationship and very open relationship, and the mother is there to support the kid, and the kid wants to be supported by the mother and is just looks to the mother for advice and things like that, and trusts the mother and wants to spend a lot of time around the mother, and so I guess the mother would be someone who's willing to spend that time and devotes a lot of time to her kids.
Okay. And how does that differ from the way that you see yourself?
Well, I mean, it's really things that I would do those things, but my son doesn't want to do those things. So I would spend a lot of time with him, but he doesn't really want to spend a lot of time with me. And I would be open and talk with him a lot, but he really doesn't. When we get the opportunity, when we have time together, when he decides he wants to see me, I feel like I am a good mother, and that's why I felt better after times that we've connected. But it's just hard whenever I feel his actions are showing that I'm not a good mother.
Okay, so you're saying that the way that he acts defines whether you're a good mother, not whether or not you are, the way you're acting defines. Does that make sense? I think I just jumbled my words a little bit.
No, I guess that's an interesting way to look at it. I mean, yeah, I feel that's where, I feel like if your son's not wanting to talk to you and spend time with you, it must be like mean that you're doing something wrong as a mother.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe not. That's just how I feel.
Sure. And your feelings are very valid, and I mean, of course that's like a method of validation for you, because you can tell, because your son is your son and you are the mother in that situation, and so that totally makes sense why you would be drawing that conclusion from there. But I would also encourage you to look at it from a different perspective, that like, so why would it be the worst that your son didn't, what would happen if your son never spoke to you about anything super serious ever again? Like, what?
I mean, I would feel like very hurt. I would feel like deprived from, you know, from like one of the essential things of having a family. And
Sure.
I would feel like I wouldn't really know what's going on with him, and I would never really be able to connect with him on a deeper level.
And then what?
And I feel like we just wouldn't have a good relationship.
And you think that a relationship is defined by what?
Well, I feel like, you know, to have a deep relationship, you have to have a deep knowledge about someone, and like a deep like intimacy, and like what you guys share, and I feel like that's like having a deep relationship, you know, and when you like share those things, you're able to care and nurture for someone in their hardest times. And I feel like if he never shared with me, then I would never be able to care for him like I want to.
So you think because if he were to never speak to you in the way that you're talking about, you could never care for him? Is that what I'm hearing?
I mean, I guess I could care for him still in some ways. I just feel like I wouldn't be able to do my motherly role of like really being there for him when he's going through like the hardest stuff, because I wouldn't know when he's going through like really hard things.
So in order to be available to somebody, you need to know exactly what's going on at all times?
No, I just like would like to be shared with sometimes.
Sure, yeah. It's a human reaction. Well, what I want to remind you of is what we talked about a couple sessions ago. Are this core belief that I think that comes out time and time, throughout time, over and over, that you're not good enough, and that like somehow that just really reaches across into lots of different areas, specifically with you and your son, because that's what we talked about today. But also we've talked about it in your school life, although I'm very pleased to hear that that's improving, and we've also talked about it in terms of your husband. But I think that for this next couple weeks, I think, or for this next upcoming week, I want you to continue to think about your thought stopping. I want you to keep working on that. And also, Ginger, can you tell me what you think your biggest strength was for this week?
I guess just like maybe just persevering through like when I found the activity difficult, and just continuing to try it anyway.
Yeah. I think that's a really, really strong thing that has really shown throughout all of our sessions, is your perseverance through things that are difficult, through things that are not in your control. Because in reality, Ginger, your son deciding to let you in or not isn't really something that we can change here, but we can change the way that affects your core belief of yourself. And so this next coming week, I want you to really think about keep continuing with your thought stopping practices, because I think that'll at least make you very self-aware of like how often that's happening, and how important it is to really halt those when you have the opportunity to. And I also want you to maybe write it down, maybe keep it in your phone or keep it in your head, whatever you feel most comfortable with. But maybe think about what your strengths are throughout the week, and what you feel like is the most, what you feel like is your biggest strength.
Could one of you ladies tell me where University Center Club is?
Yeah, it's right through those doors.
I like that.
think about your strengths, and when we come back, I want to hear from your perspective how your week has been. Does that sound like something you can do?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for explaining that.
Yeah, of course. Well, Ginger, I think that this time that we have is coming to a close, unfortunately, again, but I look forward to seeing you next week, and I really hope that this week continues to improve for you.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to it too.